Intro play. Yo, what's hood? What's good? What's going on, yo? Welcome back to the Virtual Man Cave Entertainment, yo. You know what it is. It's Thursday night. It's another wonderful episode of the MLB Weekly Rundown with Nate the Great, yo. And your good brother, Model Citizen J from around the way. Yo, Nate, what's good, family?
What's happening? How's everyone doing tonight?
Man, I hope everybody's good, man. You know, I'm chilling, man, up to no good in the hood. Nah, I'm just playing. I'm just feeling great. You know, yesterday was my birthday, son. You know what I mean? The big 4-5 out here.
Well, we gonna say happy birthday since we all said individually to you, of course, online or whatever.
True indeed. True
so the
indeed.
world knows Jay had his 45th happy birthday yesterday.
You know, 45th lap around the sun. You know what I mean? Make 45 look good out here. Check me out. Nah, but what's good with you though, Nate? Man, look, it look like you switching up on teams, man. What you doing with a Blue Jay jersey on, bro?
No, I'm just bringing back an old shirt that I've had. I had this shirt since I was a kid. Since I was a kid. Since 90, 93, 94, I had 93, I had 92, something like that.
Okay. Now let me ask you, did it fit the same way in 92, 93? Because I remember that was our baggy era. That's when everything had to be like super baggy and whatnot.
But 92, 93, I'm only like 9, 10 years old, so I was a scrawny
that was
little
super
kid.
baggy.
I was a scrawny little kid back then. Yeah, I was a scrawny kid back then.
You were swimming in that. Okay, I'll take that back because I was like, I'm a few years older. I was like 13 and whatnot, 93, 13, 12, 13.
I hadn't even shot up in height yet by that time.
Oh yeah, you were swimming in that. All right, so you had that for like forever and a day, but still though, you a Yankee fan, bro. What you doing? Like as a Met fan, I would never in my life wear another jersey unless it's custom, unless it's my jersey. You know what I'm saying? But
well, it's a difference if it was the Red Sox. Now, if it was the Red Sox, that'd be a complete violation. Blue Jays, they are division rivals too, but I ain't really got no heat with them. Plus, you know, for those of you who may have never, who are new to this show, or maybe never watched our main show, or those who have seen the main show, you remember one time I did talk about my love for baseball and where it came from, and when I played Little League, and then that same year that I myself, not the boast, but I was able to hit the game-winning championship clinching double for us to win the championship, and we finished the season undefeated. That same year, in '93, Game 6 of the World Series, Joe Carter hit a walk-off home run in the bottom of the bottom of the ninth for Mitch Williams for Toronto to clinch back-to-back World Series championships.
All right. See, this is why we call you Nate the Great, because you just be pulling out facts and stats from like way back. You know what I mean? This is why you Nate the Great, Brody. But still,
you just wearing it out all fun. My Dodgers jersey been gone. I gave that away to one of my family members a long time ago.
You even owned it? You owned the Dodgers jersey?
Hey, I won't lie. When the jersey craze came around back in the early 2000s, that was the best thing for me because I'm a sports dude. So I got to wear jerseys every single day. Nobody would say that. Everybody, yo, where you get that from? Where you get that throwback from? You know, I love the jersey era. That was one of my favorite eras.
You know what, Nate? I'm gonna let you slide because you said that. You said the jersey era. So all right, cool. You was copping flavors now and latest to match the gear, whatever. So you good as a sports, and you a sports fan too. So I'll give you that. Because other than that, bro, you shouldn't be wearing no other team jersey, fam. Like that's
you won't catch me doing that now. I mean, maybe
what you mean now? We live. We live, Nate.
I'm talking about just live. No, but I'm talking about just like just watch dudes doing it just to do it. But since I at least have one of the teams now jerseys who's in the World Series, I think I just throw it on for the fun of it. Yankee fans can't be mad. Y'all did it to yourself.
Yes, they can.
They weren't going to win. They weren't going to win anyway. They got to the World Series, they'd have just lost again. But I'll say that conversation for another time.
Where's Arthur when you need him? Because I need another Yankee fan. Even though he always wears orange, like I think he's a low key Met fan, bro.
So you need somebody to be biased toward
I don't need no. I don't need somebody to be biased.
Blind loyalty. Blind loyalty.
I need real loyalty. I need fans. Not summertime fans. My team is out, so you know what? I'm gonna wear another team's jersey. You said you jersey tripping, bro.
Nah, you won't. You don't see me with none of this jerseys. This is the only baseball jersey I still even own besides my Yankee jerseys.
I don't even believe you. At this point in the game, I don't believe you, Nate. I think you lying.
I don't have to, but I got
you know what?
Only baseball jerseys I got is Yankee jerseys, Yankee jacket, Yankee hat.
Listen,
that's all I got left.
Family, if y'all out there watching right now, do you believe that Nate has only a Blue Jays jersey and he doesn't have any other baseball jerseys, even though he's supposed to be a true blue pinstripe Yankee fan?
I am.
Come on, Nate.
I am. This is just for the sport of the game, the love of the game. Added something different to it. It's easy to just wear a Yankee jersey. Just added something different to the show.
Whatever helps you sleep better at night, bro. I'm gonna let you live. I'm gonna let you live with that. And you know what? I'm just gonna play the first video because I'm appalled right now as a Yankee hater, and you a Yankee fan. Like I gotta stick up for the Yankees now.
That's fine, but we're gonna first go into the American League pennant. Game 7 highlights are going to be from Game 7 of a great, fantastic series that just ended.
And a high drive. Lucas on the run. That ball's gone. Julio Rodriguez, in the biggest game of his life, is delivering.
He sent that.
Yeah, that was Julio Rodriguez, who played very well during this series.
See what we got next right here.
Fallen fires. Cal hits a high fly ball, deep right field. It is gone. Raleigh joins Rodriguez, delivering in Game 7.
All right, I see he was on one, huh?
Yeah, Kyle Raleigh, who's some will say will be the MVP this year over Aaron Judge. Primarily because of his numbers and the fact that he's doing it as a catcher, you know. Like they said, any other year, people feel like Judge would have been automatic lock, but a lot of people are thinking Kyle Raleigh will be the MVP this season for the American League.
Guerrero is walked to left field. Forget about it. Sixth home run of the postseason makes it 5-0 Toronto.
Wow, nothing. Dang. That's serious.
Yeah, there's Vlad who also played very well during this series as well. You can just keep rolling with the highlights, and then we'll cover it more as once the highlights are done.
All right.
Unless you want to add commentary.
Could be two. Crawford running through. Double play. There it was, and they'll face Guerrero to begin the 6th. Seattle 3, Toronto 1.
Yeah, he had to make that was an amazing throw, but he definitely had to stretch though to make that catch though.
And that was J.P. Crawford, shortstop for the Seattle Mariners, turning that double play.
Listen, shout out to the shortstops, but more props to the first baseman though.
To second on a short hop, 4-6-3, double play again. There it was. He pulled it to the right side. And for the second consecutive inning, the Mariners come away empty-handed.
And I don't want to lose something. Yeah, I don't know the words to that song, but that song is dope though.
That's what you heard out of that, the Google Dolls ISIS song.
And I don't want to lose it on something. And I just want to hold your hand.
I'm not even going to correct you. I'm just going to let you keep butchering it.
I'm saying what they saying, though. Help me out. Let me get it right, bro.
He said, and they don't want the world to see this. And so I'm gonna send you the lyrics of the song so you get it right.
Nah, say do it on live. Do it on live, bro. Help me out. Because I don't want you to see. What was it? I don't want you to see me.
And I don't want the world to see this.
I don't want the world to see this.
Because I don't think that they would understand.
Because I don't want the world to see this. Because I don't think he said that. I think mine sounds better, bro.
All right, see, that's why I didn't do it in the first place. See,
I think you lying.
You see what happens when you try to help people out?
I mean, I just wanted to hear your version because if it sounded good, I was going with it.
Left field, Arozarena, watches it go!
Blue Jays was on one.
Now that was the turning point of the game. Actually, that was the go-ahead home run by George Springer. That gave Toronto the lead. That was his 23rd postseason home run.
Dang.
Starting the ninth. And he's down on strikes. 2-2 pitch. Tagging it in the ninth. Payoff. And for the first time in 32 years, the Blue Jays have won the pennant.
All right, Blue Jays. You done made Nate convert from a Yankee fan to a Blue Jays fan. Shout out to you guys. I'm saying, am I lying?
No, I'm gonna wait till you finish playing all the videos. Keep going.
Oh, okay.
You still got to play at least two more Toronto highlights.
All right. Let's see what. Nah. Okay. You're right.
I put the time in to put these videos up.
I said you right, bro.
Round baseball excellence.
I ain't calling you a liar. Why he get it? I'm saying what he do. What makes it so nice? You know, since the Mets is gone, I ain't been watching no baseball.
All-around baseball excellence. Vladimir Guerrero Jr.
All right, Vladimir.
I'm gonna cover that. Keep going. I'm gonna cover it afterwards in the recap.
All right. Let's see.
You have tears in your eyes, Vladdy. You were 16 years old when you signed with this organization, and now you are going to the World Series, Vladdy. If you can just give us a few words, how are you feeling right now?
Amen. We do this for the city, man. We do this for y'all. We do this for y'all. 4 more, baby. 4 more.
All right, dog. I feel you. 4 more, kid. 4 more. All right, Nate. I believe that was the last video right there.
Okay, that was so the Toronto Blue Jays. Shout out to the Blue Jays for their first time making it back to the World Series since 1993, which is the last time that they actually won the World Series.
Who they play? Who they play that year?
Philadelphia Phillies.
Okay.
Because the year before that, in '92, they beat the Atlanta Braves to win their first ever championship for Toronto. Of course, during that time they had the rivalry with the other Canadian team, the Montreal Expos, who are now the Washington Nationals. And Vlad Guerrero, oh man. He one reason he did is he turned it on because he started the series slow when they went you don't have to put that yet. When he went 0 for 7 to start the series off, but then he turned it on after that, batting .385 with 10 hits, 3 home runs, and 3 doubles during the series. And like they said, he's been with the team when he signed with the team at the age that he signed with the team. He's been with the team for a long period of time. The thing that I think that means the most emotional for him also, as well as just doing it as being only the 6th Dominican-born player to win in an ALCS MVP. There were a lot of rumors about possibly would Vladimir Guerrero still be a Toronto Blue Jay this year, because coming into the season there was talks about, do you move him? Even last year there was talks, because had the Blue Jays run their course with the team that they had, and should they have broken the team up? So that means also a lot too, because this team had been through a lot of heartbreaks throughout the last couple of years. Even you say the last 10 to 12 years, they've had some ups, they had some downs, they had some great series. Of course, the series that everybody knows about against the Texas Rangers, with Jose Bautista with the infamous bat flip. You know, the walk-off home run by Edwin Encarnacion against the Baltimore Orioles, and that's just naming the small ones over there. Of course, Josh Donaldson with the slide at home to win the series as well. And that's just not even naming the ones from way back. You know, I'm just naming some recent ones within that time. So this was a great series. I think this was for Vladimir Jr. His journey was a well respected journey, and I don't think it could happen to a better person. You can see how when he talked during the post-game interview, of course, he mentioned from his perspective and his beliefs, you know, his faith in God with his family is what kept him persevering through even through the hard times, you know, and especially having to live up to that name with your father being as great as he was. Vladimir Sr. played for a few teams, but he was great wherever he went, from the Angels to the Orioles to the Texas Rangers, the Montreal Expos. So, you know, having to live in the shadow, you know, most of the time, most players whose parent is a big time player, they have big shoes to fill. And sometimes they can never make their own lane, you know.
Yeah. Did his father ever make the World Series?
No.
Okay.
So that's an advantage that he has over him.
Is his father still living?
Yeah, last season.
All right, cool.
And he's been at some of the games. He's even been at a game where he threw out the first pitch to Vlad Jr.
Nice.
And there's a lot of pictures and things you'll see where he's come to the games. They show highlights. They show Vlad. They showed old pictures during the series of Vlad Jr. being at the games with his dad. You know, for all the years coming up. So it was a really good series. George Springer, like I said, hitting that big time 3-run home run. A guy that they got from the Houston Astros. He came through with his he was in 2000 and he brought the experience with him, because he was part of the 2017 team as the World Series MVP. I know a lot of times when they put that 2017 team, they think about the drones with the cameras and such forth.
Yeah. Correct me if I'm wrong, but they said he was signed with them when he was 16 years old. Since he was 16,
right? Because you get a lot of players when Major League Baseball.
Go to high school?
Yeah, he still did, but Major League Baseball can sign players at that age. You know, especially players coming from like Dominican Republic or Cuba, Venezuela, such forth.
So was he getting? So he was getting a major league paycheck while he was in high school.
He was getting something like a little bit of money, probably then around that time.
A little bit of money, my butt. It was better than probably anybody it was better than all his peers and most adults probably at that time.
It wasn't that outrageous at the time, because he was still only 16 years old. But they signed him at less contract. The money's a little bit less. I mean, it's still more money than either one of us got, but they signed him to a nice contract. It's like a contract when they first started off young. What?
I was working at the Boys Club of New York at 16 years old.
I wasn't working at all when I was 16 years old.
He was making way more than me. I was working in the locker room at the Boys Club. Shoot.
And so basketball. Yeah, and so I know what you're saying, Jay. Like, they do that because they got some baseball camps in like Dominican Republic, and that's where they recruit the players at, and then you sign them and they come over to the league. So that's something that's been going on for years.
I swear, man, I picked the wrong sport growing up. I should have played baseball.
Can't say that, man.
Nah, I'm just joking.
Right. Plus, that's a whole nother conversation in its own right.
Yeah, I'm definitely just joking. I played the sport that fit me, which was basketball. I loved it. It was wonderful. I'll take nothing from it. It gave me everything. So, yeah, but the way I could have been signed at 16 years old, man, shoot. I could have been nice like Vlad. I could have been Vlad. You know what I mean? I could run fast. I could
might have just been retiring now.
Retiring at 45 sounds great. You know what I mean? Shoot.
Yeah, they so it was a tough, and I think it was a great series. I think it was the better series of the two. You know, and it had to be a tough loss for Seattle, the Seattle Mariners, because that fan base. Another year to now they have to go turn it back around because, you know, Seattle still remains the only team that's never been to a World Series. All the teams in the league, they're the only team that's never been to a World Series.
How long have they been? How long has the franchise been around?
They've been around that now. That's the one thing. Good question. Oh, so the Mariners have been around since 1977.
Okay, it's about time they do for one. I mean, I'm glad you ain't say like 1940 or 1920 or something. You know, then I'd have been like, oh, Jesus.
Oh, you mean like more historical franchise like the Cubs or something? You haven't been since
yeah.
Like,
you know what? I'm glad you said the Cubs. I'm glad you didn't try to bring up my Mets or anything like that because that'd have been real disrespectful.
Now the Mets came into existence in 69.
69 was a real good year,
and that was the year of the Amazins, which you know, pick and choose. Pick and choose when you grew up. But most people say 69. The 69 Mets is the greatest championship team over the 86 Mets. It all depends on your preference.
86, baby. I was living in Flushing, Queens. You can't tell me nothing. I was living in Flushing, Queens, yo. Like, I grew up right by Shea Stadium, so.
Right, so you was there at that time, so you didn't experience the 69 Mets. So, you know, it's hard for you to compare that, you know, because you wasn't living during that time.
I'm telling you, 86 was they was amazing. Like, that whole season was electrifying, man. You can't tell me nothing. I don't want to hear nothing about no 69.
Right, because you ain't from that generation. But
yeah,
you talk to those from that generation, they'll tell you how great.
And I'm gonna tell them that they washed up. They washed, kids. You don't know nothing.
Nah, I'm gonna say that was a great team during that time too as well.
Listen, I'm not taking nothing away from them. That was the second greatest team that the Mets ever had.
They gave you the first championship.
And I thank them for that. Thank them for setting it off. I appreciate it. Y'all did that. Y'all came in. Y'all brought us the first chip. Legendary. You brought number one. You can't airbrush history, and you brought in number one. But 86, Strawberry, Doc, Hojo and them. Come on, son. Like in 69, they wasn't saying Darryl. Come on, bro. They wasn't getting that in 69. That's all I'm saying. And I believe in whatchamacallit, in 86, they was doing numbers like this too. They were doing numbers like the Blue Jays.
Yeah, so within that series, over 9.9 million viewers tuned in to watch that series across all from Fox to FS1, Fox Deportes, Fox Sports streaming services. And they said the highest time of the rating over that game was between 10:45 to 11 p.m., where they had over 12.3 million viewers. And viewership was up 32% from 2023's ALCS between the Texas Rangers and the Houston Astros, which had a total of 6.7 million viewers. And this is the most streamed championship game in Fox Sports history.
That's crazy.
Now, see, thing about that is too, you look at when they compared it to the Astros and the Rangers, I think that's always going to be one of those situations because, you know, whenever there's two teams that's from the same state in the same city that are playing against each other, it seems like the only ones that really care about it is the people in that state more than everybody else. You know, like we remember the World Series in 2000. Everybody like, don't nobody want to see no Yankees versus Mets, but you know, for New York, you know how we was in 2000.
We was lit. So that was Listen, that's life right there, yo. That's the best stuff, man. I mean, that's the greatest thing in the world. Like, I'm sorry for people who don't live outside of New York. I mean, who live outside of New York, yo. Y'all don't understand what it means. I mean, even though, because Nate's a New Yorker, even though he lives on the West Coast right now, he is a native New Yorker. West Side, yeah. Just for us, like our banter, even though it's Mets versus Yankees, it's a New York thing. It's a New York, it's one or the other for us, and we're the only ones who can talk bad about each other. Because if I go anywhere else, oh, you can't talk bad about the Yankees, yo. They're from New York, bro. You're not talking bad about the Yankees for me. I defend both teams anywhere else against anybody else, except for when I'm in New York. When I'm in New York, oh, it's strictly Mets all day, every day, son. I stand on mine.
Yeah, and that goes with a lot of series. Like in 2002, you had San Francisco Giants versus the Los Angeles Angels. So that was a battle of Northern California versus Southern California. So of course, the viewership was higher there than it was anywhere else. You know what I'm saying? So it's just something about in-state where it's mainly the whole state itself loves it. They going at it,
Yo, like you literally, like in New York, it makes it even better because you don't have to drive nowhere. Like you could just literally take the train from one stadium to the next stadium. The train rides, bro. Like the Subway series is so epic, yo. I don't know, man. People need to just come to New York and experience it next time that the Mets and the Yankees both make the World Series, and the Mets are gonna win the next one. So you need to come down, y'all, and watch it.
I'll just challenge everybody to travel everywhere in life.
Yeah, I especially say New York, though. It's the capital of the world. I mean, am I lying, Nate?
I mean, I've been gone for so long. The hometown bias that I used to have, it's died down a little bit. I'm not gonna lie.
Even though I've been gone for a long time out my state, it's the state that raised me. It's the state that made me. So, yeah, I'm always gonna be biased, sure. I mean, I love where I'm at. What'd you say, Nate?
I'm biased to an extent.
Now, you know me. What'd you call me? I'm a what kind of Met fan am I?
Delusional.
I'm a delusional Met fan, right? So I guess I'm a delusional New Yorker. Yo. I live my life in delusion, yo, in the field of grandeur, yo.
I love it all the time, but I just tell people, just visit it once. Just like I'll tell people to go to California once, come to Texas once. Certain cities, and especially here in America.
That is California is one of my destinations, yo. I got to get out there and drive through with a drop top, yo. I made it to Vegas. You know what I'm saying? Vegas was one of my spots. You know what I'm saying? I made it out there. I got to make it to Cali. I got to make it to Texas. You know what I'm saying? I got to make it to I want to go to Seattle. I don't know what's in Seattle, but I just want to go.
I heard it's nice. I heard it's nice up there. And if you like the rain during the time of the year when it rains a lot, I think you'd like that too, just as much.
Yeah, I don't mind the rain. The rain is chill. I gotta make it back to Miami.
I don't even know what Florida smells like. So
I've been to Orlando, Fort Lauderdale, Miami. Been to a few spots in Florida.
I've skipped that entire state.
Dang.
And now people say, Florida? No, I don't know. I just never took the trip down, and everybody's like, how you gone to all these other places in the South, but you ain't been to Florida? Like I've been to the Carolinas. I've even been to Kentucky. I've been to Mississippi, and all these other areas, but they say I've been to Georgia, I've been to Alabama, but I skipped right past Florida.
Mississippi, Alabama, Georgia. I'm good. I'm good. I don't want to see them states. You can have Alabama, you can have Mississippi, and you can most certainly have Georgia. I don't want to see nothing.
I only got to be in a small part of Alabama, which was Birmingham, when I went to visit. But I'll say for Georgia's a nice place to visit. It's a nice place. I think it's a nice place to go visit as well.
Yeah, I've been to Savannah. I've been to Savannah, Georgia.
Yeah, so you've been to Georgia.
Nah, in and out real fast though.
I think, every state you go to, I think for some people, because, you got some people who don't ever want to leave the country. And it's funny how we're getting on this conversation on a baseball show, but, some people don't want to leave the country. So there's 52 states for you to go visit, or whatever, 51, 52 states for you to visit, where
What's
you
the
can go and you got to worry about needing a passport or nothing. If you don't want to leave America.
Nah, I left the country one time, but it was on a cruise ship.
Well, no, I wasn't saying you, it's just some people
Oh, no,
out
I
there
know,
that's like
not
that.
me.
Yeah.
Oh,
Some people don't want to leave.
There's certain people that don't want to leave their block, yo.
Yeah, we've had that conversation before too.
But there's certain people in Seattle that might be moving, might be staying, might be doing a lot of other things.
Yep. And so the Seattle Mariners do have some decisions to make coming up. As you can see up here, courtesy of MLB Network, we have a couple of free agents coming up big time, like Jorge Polanco, second baseman, Mitch Garver, the catcher, backup catcher, goes Caleb Ferguson, Eugenio Suarez, who they picked up during the draft deadline from Arizona, Josh Naylor, who they picked up from Arizona also as well. So there's going to be some options now. Now with Jorge Polanco, he has a $6 million player option. Garver has a $12 million mutual option. So it's possible the Mariners GM office is going to have to sit down and think about what they want to do. Do they want to as far as who they decide to keep, because you got this far, almost getting to the World Series. The one thing you hate, and I'm pretty sure any team can understand this, or anybody can understand this, you get almost right there, and then all of a sudden you have a downslide the year after that. They want to continue this momentum. They want to continue with some momentum and carry it on, and hopefully next year actually get to the World Series.
What would you do, Nate? Would you keep them, or are you letting them go and trying to rebuild and add?
Well, I mean, for me personally, I'm a fan of. I think all the players are good, but I'm gonna say if I had to keep anybody, it would be Suarez and Josh Naylor.
Okay.
And Polanco, maybe pull that $6 million option as well. See if he still wants to stay. That'd be the audition. Everyone else, unfortunately, they may end up being those. But Suarez and Naylor to me were good pickups, and I think depending on what their asking prices, because of course these guys are going to want to try to get paid too as well. So.
Yeah. Do they deserve the bag though if they ask for more?
Well, if you're thinking like 500, 600 million, they're not on that level. So you won't have to worry about spending that much money on either one of those players. But as far as what they can contribute to a team, they will be definitely worth re-signing.
So let's say they ask for, they're not worth 500, right? They worth 300.
No, I don't think so. Even in this collective bargaining agreement, I would maybe say you could get both of them for under 200.
Ooh.
Suarez, I think Suarez you might have to give a little bit more to personally, as compared to Naylor. I think you could get a little bit more out of Suarez. Suarez might make a higher bid than that you'd have to pay for than Naylor. But you have to look at everything that's coming up and what do you do, because eventually. You got other players. I mean, Julio Rodriguez, not worried about him. He's already locked in for the next couple of years, almost the next decade. So you got him locked in. Riley's contract is not coming up just yet, but when his contract comes up, you're gonna make sure you keep the money to re-sign him. So plus you got your pitching with George Kirby, Logan Gilbert. So you're gonna Brian Wu. So you're gonna have there's some decisions that's gonna have to be made overall. You got to think about not just next year, but the years after that.
Yeah, they got some decisions to make, bro. I'm glad I'm not the GM. That ain't my job. But
and speaking on
on the not so light of news, got to give a RIP to Jesus Montero.
So this is Jesus Montero, a former player of the Seattle Mariners. He was he started his career with the Yankees back in September 2011. He last played for the Mariners back in October of 2015, which was the last time he played in the league. He had a career average of 253 with 28 home runs and 104 RBIs. He was from Guacara, Venezuela, and he died in his home country on November 28, 1989. He passed away in his hometown of Venezuela in Valencia on October 19th of this year at the very young age of 35. Unfortunately, he was critically injured in a motorcycle accident where he collided with a pickup truck. And unfortunately, he was put in an induced coma and cardiac arrest. He passed. He died at the hospital on October 19th. He leaves behind 2 children, along with his wife. I think his wife at the time, Tanith Jimenez. So we just want to recognize and rest in peace and condolences to the family of Jesus Montero during this time of bereavement.
R.I.P. to the family, Brody. Tough loss.
Now we're gonna turn it back up a little bit, and we're gonna push the clip of the week, throwback clip of the week, up a little bit to now. And this is gonna be just a little something for fun, for old time's sake. David Holtz, former player for the Texas Rangers, and this is just one of them funny moments that all you can do is nothing but laugh about it as you see this play out. And as Jay gets the video up.
He gets fisted and fights it off toward the Angel dugout.
I think he's decided he's headed for the ninth.
Yeah, he's gone.
See you guys.
Again, slapped that way. Same spot.
I don't know. It might be a little target shooting down there.
Gray with the 0-2 pitch. Same spot almost.
Never call him the truth down.
That's it.
Oh, mercy. How about one more? We get Brady going just a little harder.
Still 0-2. Singles. He gets fisted and fights it off toward the Angel dugout.
Yeah, I would have moved too. Yeah, I'm out.
And that incident happened October 3rd, 1992, when the Texas Rangers were playing against the at the time they were called the Anaheim Rangers.
That looked like it was like a million years ago, man.
The 1900s.
I'm glad Troy's not here. He hates when we say the 1900s.
He'd have logged off.
Yo, I'm out of here. I'm out of here. You know I hate when y'all say that, yo. I can't stand that.
That was 33 years ago.
I ain't Nate. You really didn't have to say how long ago it was, bro. We understand it was a long time ago. Gosh, 33. Yeah. Makes me feel my age.
Yeah, 10 years old at the time. Think about the things that was out during that time, you know. But it's good to be able to sit back and reminisce on those kind of memories now, you know.
Oh, no, it's a beautiful blessing, man. It's, you know, time moves forward. You know, it's a beautiful blessing to have these memories and still be here and to create more memories.
Mm-hmm. Now, also in other news that's came up, Kazumu Okamoto is said to be posted that during this offseason, he will be signing with a major league team. He's 29 years of age, born June 30th, 1996, from Gojo, Japan. He's played 10 years over in Japan so far in his career, where he's had a career total of 277 home. He's had a career total of 277 home runs, 872 RBIs, 14 stolen bases, with a career batting average of 274, with over 1,042 strikeouts, 580 walks. He has a slugging percentage of .501 and an on-base percentage of .355. So it's going to be interesting in what team he does actually sign to. I mean,
you think he's ready for the major league, Nate?
Yeah, I mean, you got to think a lot of those guys, a lot of the players, especially like in Japan too, they start off when they're young too as well, and they play over there for a lot of years. Shohei Ohtani was another one who played from over Japan. Hideki Matsui, Hideo Nomo, even some that people forget about, Man, I forgot his name. I'm not gonna lie. Oh, Hideki
Yeah.
Arabu. Hideki Arabu. I got him. My bad.
You forgot about him too.
Hideki Arabu, who was a former Yankee. I remember because the first Yankee game that I went to was in 1995, and he pitched that game against the Cleveland at the time known as the Cleveland Indians, which are now the Cleveland Guardians.
But you wearing a Blue Jays jersey though, bro.
Yeah, I am, and then we going there. We can stamp that. We can make that the thumbnail if you want to.
Just letting you know.
But yeah, he's ready. I think he'll be ready. You know, these guys are the professionals. You know, you got a lot of American players who go over to Japan and play as well, and they play very high. They play high percentage baseball.
Speaking of a game in Japan, high IQ baseball and high intensity and high skill level. There was a game, I think it was in Japan. They played like 30 innings, bro. I meant to send you the clip. I don't know if I did, but it was it was crazy. If I find it, I'm gonna send it to you. We could talk about it next week. But it was like a wild experience.
It's just like the clip. Remember, we were looking at with the men versus the women, and Hideki Matsui was in that game. Now at his age now, and this player Akamoto, he could play third, he could play first, and he could play the outfield. So you can pick and plug in different positions for him.
All right.
So we'll see where he lands at. Of course, heavy hitters are going to be like the Dodgers, the Yankees, the Mets, the Boston Red Sox. Those are going to be some of the heavy hitters. But wouldn't be surprised if he ends up somewhere like St. Louis or San Diego or something like that.
Now, do you think he's coming straight to the league, or he's going to go to the he's going to go to one of the farm teams?
You mean? Oh, no, he'll most likely he'll go straight to the team, the league. He may play a couple games down in the farm system for a little bit, but I think he'll be straight in the league, most likely. Okay. And that leads next to another player, a former player, Kurt Suzuki, who's a former player in Major League Baseball. He was in the 2019 World Series. He's in when he's played for the Washington Nationals, who won that championship that year. Suzuki he was a one-time All-Star. He played 16 years in the league. His last 2 years was with the Angels. He's been known now to be the actual coach, the coach that's going to be for the Los Angeles. Sorry, I'm trying to talk too fast. That's my problem. He's going to be the headline. He's going to be the next coach for the Los Angeles Angels. I'm about to say Anaheim. The Los Angeles Angels. First, Albert Pujols was considered one, but sometime last week, the Angels organization said that Pujols would not be the next manager because Pujols, Suzuki, and also former Angel Torrey Hunter were like the last three finalists that they were deciding on who was going to make that choice. So they went with Kurt Suzuki. So they still said apparently there may be two other teams that might be interested in Albert Pujols. San Diego Padres is also one of the major teams that I think as their coach had just recently retired. We'll see where Torrey Hunter may land up. Maybe hopefully he'll land somewhere as an assistant if he doesn't get a head coaching position. Because there's a lot of manager positions available this year.
Yeah, people need jobs. All right, I think I might apply for a manager job, yo. But Nate, you gotta help me out though, because I don't know nothing. I'm gonna call you up and like, yo, Nate, what should I do? I'm gonna give you a PC of the check though. You know what I'm saying? Whatever my contract is, I'm gonna hook you up though, bro. You know what I mean? We both gonna be eating good. You're gonna get that monthly Cash App deposit. You know what I'm saying?
I appreciate it. And last for this is Tony Vitello, who has been named manager for the San Francisco Giants coming out of Tennessee University. But the Tennessee Vols as 47 years old, who's been the head coach of the Tennessee Vols since 2018. Now, what makes this so important, considered important, is he's the first manager to come directly to Major League Baseball without any previous professional coaching experience. Yeah. He becomes the 40th field manager in club history for the San Francisco Giants.
That could be me. That's all I'm saying, though. He's giving me hope. He's giving me hope right now.
Now, when he got there, he did, and some of his credentials. Before when he got there, it had been more than a decade since Tennessee had made the NCAA tournament, and he was one of the big reasons for them turning that around and winning the national championship last year. And it was the third men's college World Series berth in 4 seasons. He said currently they have a winning percentage of 722 during his 8 seasons as coach. I think some of this comes also from this is a big move, and coming from Buster Posey, who's the GM there with the San Francisco Giants. He was playing it close to the heart. That's what Buster did say. He was not making any decisions up front. He was not going to give you any idea who was going to be coach. He's keeping it close to the chest. And Buster Posey, for those who know, is a former player for the San Francisco Giants, who was a back catcher for many years. Was part of that 2010s run team who won 3 championships in 5 years. Jay, you remember him from that collision at home?
Whatever.
So I know what. So no, you tell me, Jay. What do you have about? What's your issue with this?
I mean, no issue. I mean, it's part of the game. It's baseball, but
He obviously knows game about baseball. 6 regional appearances, 3 men's college World Series appearances, 10 first-round draft picks that have been produced under his from him coaching.
I mean,
so
he knows what he's talking about. He knows what he's doing. Obviously.
And he's had 42 total draft picks since 2021.
I mean, his resume obviously speaks for itself, so it's only right that he takes the opportunity. He gets that opportunity.
Because in baseball, though, the one thing I will say is, it's about if you know the game. Now, some people may be more, but also college is it's going to be a bigger step in the major leagues now. So we're going to see if he's going to be able to make that transition. But in certain sports, if you know the sport, and you can flourish.
So the question is, though, now you know the sport, but it's a difference though when you're coaching college kids,
right? Yeah,
versus grown men,
millionaires at that.
Yeah, against grown men. Will you be able to command the same respect that you got from those college kids as the major league the major league players?
Right. Well, I think a lot of that comes based on your coaching philosophy. Like we've seen in certain instances through other sports. Sometimes college, some coaches can be a little bit more volatile in the way they respond or things like that doesn't fly well when they get to the pros. Even in some college instances, it doesn't work. But usually in college, when the coach is older and the kids are young, a lot of times, let's say, I'm gonna say back in our time, we were younger. Most players listen. You have a few who didn't like the way the coach talked, but overall, coaches had that respect. But now you have to see how that's going to transition over, and I think that's something that he'll be prepared. We have to see. The city of San Francisco as well. The fans are going to have to give him some time. San Francisco did finish 500 this year, so a lot of there's going to be some expectations. They're looking forward to getting back to the playoffs and getting back to some championship glory. So San Francisco's California is a city area too that's expected to win. And being that they are the only baseball team in town now, so with unfortunately the A's, well, they still in Sacramento, but they're steadily moving out to Las Vegas.
Did them dirty, yo. You don't know how much that breaks my heart, Nate. Like, for real.
No, I'm with you on that. I'm not gonna go on another rant about it. I went on my rant about, the A's moving from California. I don't agree with it, but maybe hopefully one day they'll bring the franchise back. That's what I'm hoping for, and that's what I'm looking for in that gold and green, yellow and green.
That'll be something wonderful, bro. That'll be something epic if they did that. But once a team usually leaves, they not coming back.
Oh, you remember the Raiders went back and forth through Oakland plenty of times. So,
but that's when it was more like a historic, and they knew it. I don't think they're gonna bring the Athletics back. If anything, though, if they don't bring the Athletics back, though, I do think they should at least bring another team to Oakland. Oakland deserves a team, bro. Like, you can't strip them of their culture like that, yo.
Yeah, I mean, it was a lot of other stuff. There's been some stories, and there's some good documentaries on whether you've seen on Netflix or even on YouTube that talk about the series overall and how it went. You know, it's a really good a look. I mean, it's some good information on here.
Yeah, but we're not going to say, we're not going to woe about Oakland. We're going to celebrate. We're going to celebrate this dude right here because this guy that we're going to show the next video of, yo, he's something serious, bro. He the real deal.
So these are the highlights now of the LA Dodgers Milwaukee Brewers series.
In game 4 of the LCS, and there goes Ohtani. Shohei lighting up the highlights already. Oh my goodness! Shohei Ohtani! Wow! Up and over the roof! 1-2 the count. Ohtani, did he? Ohtani! Ohtani has done it again! His 3rd home run! Dodgers in game 4 of the LCS, and there goes Ohtani! Shohei lighting up the highlights already.
And to show you a different view of it, there's another here's another view of those 3 home runs.
Ohtani, did he?
Yeah, my boy was really out there swinging. What's good, family?
What's up,
What up, OG? Can you hear us?
No, he can hear us. It's because he doing the same thing you did at the beginning of the show.
Oh, okay, because he's in awe that you're wearing a Blue Jay.
Nah, hold up. Hey, Nate, can you hear me?
Yeah, I hear you.
Jay, you can hear me?
Yeah, I can hear you.
I can't hear Jay. I can hear Nate. I can't hear Jay.
Nate, can you hear me?
I can hear you, Jay.
Okay.
It gotta be me. I think it's just me. I just signed on late. Hope everybody in the world can see me. D Rigger, my nigga. I'm here. If y'all can't, I gotta get back on. I can't hear nobody. Let me go come back. I'll be right back. I'll be right back.
All right.
I'll be right back.
All right. Ladies and gentlemen, that's Unk. As always, we're always glad to have him along.
Word. Good old OG, triple OG.
Freeland takes off. Durbin, a high fly ball to right. Pages, he is there. He's got it. And the ball game is over. And the Los Angeles Dodgers have won the National League pennant. They sweep the Brewers. The greatest night of baseball.
At least they still got
by an individual
like beer
player
in Milwaukee.
in the history of this game, Shohei Ohtani.
All right, keep rolling. Keep rolling with the videos.
Oh, I am. I just had to add Unk to the screen real fast.
Can you hear us?
I can hear everything.
Championship Series most valuable player goes to the best player on this planet, Shohei Ohtani. Congratulations.
I did not bet.
Championship Series.
Keep going, Jay. Come here, we're gonna talk about it after all the highlights and everything.
Oh yeah, one more.
I tell you what, man. No one of us was born with Babe Ruth was doing his thing. But I'm
my bad. Pause that. because I want to go into the other stuff first before that. So, so that's the Los Angeles Dodgers completing the sweep of the Milwaukee Brewers. The Dodgers are the first defending World Series champions to return back to the World Series since the 2008 Philadelphia Phillies did it, where they won it in 2008, then went back to repeat and play the Yankees in 2009, where they did lose. The Dodgers have announced already that Game 1 and Game 2 starters will be Blake Snell and excuse me, and Yamamoto for their Game 1 and 2 starters. During that 3 home run game, if you'll see all 3 home runs, Shohei Ohtani is in there with great company. It's actually the last 3 people to hit 3 home runs in the game were all Dodgers. Ohtani this year, Chris Taylor back in 2021, Enrique Hernandez back in 2017. You got Jose Altuve also did it in that 2017 World Series. Pablo Sandoval of the San Francisco Giants in 2012. Albert Pujols in 2011, along with Adrian Belt of the St. Louis Cardinals, along with Adrian Beltre of the Texas Rangers in 2011. Yeah, Adam Kennedy in 2002 World Series for the Angels. George Brett, Hall of Famer in the 1978 World Series for the Kansas City Royals. You had Reggie Jackson, of course, the famous one, Mr. October 1977 for the New York Yankees. You had Bob Robertson, who did it in 1971 for the Pittsburgh Pirates. Babe Ruth did it in 1928 for the New York Yankees, and Babe Ruth also did it in 1926 for the New York Yankees, as he was the first to ever hit 3 home runs in the postseason.
All right. Shout out to Ohtani.
Now, what I want to say about that before we play the video, because his Game 4 performance was great. 10 strikeouts during that game. Over 6 innings, he had 3 home runs. He was dominating. The LA Dodgers from the jump, their pitching has really been phenomenal this postseason. I will say that better than most years that they've had that they've been in the World Series. Their pitching has been phenomenal. When you got guys like Blake Snell and Yamamoto and Glasnow going 8 innings or so, obviously there was something wrong. I'm not sure with them. And the question goes to that is the Milwaukee Brewers. What were they doing wrong? Because for the Milwaukee Brewers, you had a batting average of 118. One of your star players, Christian Yelich, with 1 for 14, with only 2 RBIs and 7 strikeouts. Unfortunately, it's almost like another year that he's always kind of underperformed during playoff time. Milwaukee, another thing that I felt like hurt them as well was they used the same pitchers almost every game. They didn't throw nothing new at the LA Dodgers. So, you bring the same pitchers in all the time, eventually that team's going to know something. You didn't throw anything at them to make
that pitcher's rhythm.
Not the same, and I feel like they didn't go the same way that they were. Remember, and if you remember, and it's not even to throw no shade, because some people get offended thinking that you're trying to talk bad about a team. Just talk honest. I remember I told you I didn't believe in Milwaukee at the beginning of the postseason, and they played against them. They played against the Cubs, who were their division rivals. So I think they were up for that game, and I think that was it for them. Once they beat the Cubs, it all went downhill after that for them. They just, if you look at their pitching, they had an ERA of 3.71. They given up. They had walked 17 times, only 37 strikeouts. Most pitchers in that game, they barely went past 4 innings during that game. They didn't have anybody in there that actually went out there and dominated. You had Tobias Myers coming out of the bullpen with a 13.50 ERA. Jose Quintana with a 13.50 ERA. You had a lot of other pitchers out there who barely pitched or barely only pitched maybe one game.
9 innings.
Yeah, they used Aaron Ashby a lot during that series also as well. Jacob Mizorowski was probably one of the few highlights during their postseason run as far as pitching is concerned. There's concerns about, does Freddie Peralta come back? Do the Brewers trade Freddie Peralta? I don't think you trade Peralta, but we'll see what the Milwaukee Brewers do in that time, because this is just another season where they just came up short, like they did last year when they played up against the Mets and they lost in the divisional series. So we're gonna see what's gonna happen, what's coming up for the Brewers. Now, like I said, the Dodgers, the unsung, Ohtani got a lot of the praise, but the main guys during that series, it was Teoscar Hernandez, Kike Hernandez. Don't forget about Mookie Betts, Max Muncy were the guys who pretty much carried that offense.
Yeah, I seen Ohtani. He did everything.
He did everything for one game, Jay.
Shit, bro. He did everything
No, I'm
for
serious.
one game.
He did everything for a
season.
game. That was a game 4 to a team that was already defeated. That was a team that was already in Cancun. Their trip already been booked.
Now I'm just trolling right now. I know. Listen, I know. You know, a lot of people in the all season. You know, Ohtani's been playing wonderful baseball, but he plays a team sport. It takes your team to help you win. You know what I'm saying? To help you be great. So, and you know, when you got players like you said, Mookie Betts and company, you know what I'm saying? It's kind of easy for you to be great. You have a sense of easement because you can trust your teammates, you can trust your players. You know that they're on the same level as you are. So, and you know, you can hold them accountable for their for what they're responsible for, you know, in the position they play, and it takes, you know, the pressure off you, and you can perform and do great at what you do. So yeah.
And my thing with that, yeah, because they talk a lot about that, and you know, the one thing I say is during that series, before that game 4, he had the 3 home run game. You know what his batting average was?
What?
103. He was 3 for 29 over those last 7 games, with only 1 extra base hit during that time and 17 strikeouts.
So he showed up. He was, you know, he was invisible for a little bit. He was hiding out, and then he showed up. You know,
and that's the problem we have with the Brewers as far as dangerous as a hitter as he is. Once he gave up that first home run and the way he was pitching, I don't care what the fans think. You walk him the rest of the time. You would have done it to any other batter. You walk him.
You know what? I'd agree. I agree with that because, you know what I'm saying, like you said, they didn't show him anything different. So he got used to the rhythm. He found that pitcher's rhythm and pattern. But if you was throwing out anything that was different and whatnot, I think you keep pitching to him because he would have been prepared. It'd have been a lot of inconsistent pitches and whatnot.
Well, see, the last team that did that, and that actually, you see, the team that now I would say before then, the team that had them on the ropes and they just couldn't close, they just couldn't put the knockout blow was the Philadelphia Phillies. Philly lost to them in 6, but Philly had the Dodgers on the ropes the entire series. There wasn't no offensive outburst from them. Those games were really tight games. There wasn't no high scoring offenses or anything like that. Those games were tight games the entire way. Both teams were pitching. Philly, you know, their hitters didn't hit. You know, they had Ohtani. Their pitchers were going right at him, and he couldn't hit nothing. You know, and you know they had a game plan for him. And I'm going to get more into Ohtani because I want to make sure we understand. Like, this isn't Shohei Ohtani slander. It's just regarding the way the league is going now. So now you can play that clip by David Ortiz. Is with the post game with David Ortiz, Derek Jeter, and Alex Rodriguez that they cover on Fox Sports 1. This is courtesy of Fox Sports 1.
No problem.
So happy that I was born in this era right here so that I can watch greatness. Watch this guy swing right here once again. This first ball that he hit in the parking lot, it's a cutter in the hands. Come on, guys. I thought that the greatest thing I was ever going to see from the left side of the home plate, it was going to be Barry Bonds. But look at this guy. Look at this thing right here, man. Come on.
Launch angle.
That's not easy to do. Cutter in the hand, long angle. Look at Freddie. Freddie's like, oh no. And watch this. We got candy for you guys in left center too. Just in case you were planning going home, look at Magic. Going all crazy out there. I mean, come on, guys. We are watching greatness right here. And watching this guy hitting and pitching, like you say, in our era, our lifetime, this is something, I don't care what anybody say, this is fun to watch.
I can't, well, first of all, I can't let this go. What high school do you go to where you're 22-year-old seniors?
It's called Dominican Republic University Hybrid.
They kick you out.
You got to be younger. But back to Ohtani. I think, you know, this culture nowadays, they're very quick to always say everything is the greatest, right? It's the greatest this. It's the greatest I've ever seen. We were talking about Ohtani, I believe, at the All-Star break, and I said it's tough for you. You can't say he's the greatest player ever because he has to have a longer career. You got to do this for a long time. And we've had Hank Aaron, Willie Mays. We've had a lot of players that have come through this game. But I think you can say that he has the greatest tool set of any player that we've seen. To your point, he strikes out the side and then he jogs in and he goes and he hits a home run. You know, so if you just break it down from a pitching
That's what they call greatness.
Yeah, you go from a pitching standpoint, he's striking out 10. And then offensively, it's not like other sports. Basketball, you have the ball. Football, you can be a quarterback. He gets a pitch to hit, and he does absolute damage. So, I mean, that's probably one of the greatest performances we've seen.
I tell you what, man. No one of us was born when Babe Ruth was doing his thing.
So I ramble a lot, but I want to
I'll tell you what.
I want to get your take on it, Unc.
I'll tell you what, like in our era, this is the greatest thing we get to watch. Yo, David Ortiz, his accent is, I love that. Yeah, that joint is crazy. You know what I'm saying? Shout out to Big Poppy. Listen, that wasn't me not making fun of anybody. Imitation is the greatest form of flattery, yo. I just think his cadence is slow.
And it don't work.
What happened?
He was on froze.
I didn't freeze. That's your internet, Unc.
You know I got that. You know I got that high Y6.
Y'all on furlough. It's on furlough.
Oh, that's what it is.
That's cold. That's cold-blooded.
Cold-blooded.
Nah, but what's your thoughts, Unc?
About what? Shohei being special?
Yeah.
Hey, yo, bro, there's one in every sport. I don't know if y'all was watching basketball, but that's Victor Wembanyama. And baseball has this guy. Mr. I can go out here and throw a 93-mile-per-hour splitter and then go up the next bat and knock out. Like you said, bro, that's single game greatness, bro. I would like to see him like, yo. But here, the dude pitches and he's a batter. That's just crazy work. He's good. Shout out to the Dodgers. They got him. That's crazy work.
Yeah, and I'll go more into that. The thing about it is for that, I understand what David Ortiz is saying as far as in his lifetime. Like me and Jay were talking about this earlier about comparison of the Mets. So for Jay, the 86 Mets, and I understand it, like just like me, or I said even for the young generation now, for Jay, the 86 Mets will be greater than the 69 Mets because Jay wasn't around for the 69 Mets.
Right.
But you got people who grew up in that generation for the 69 Mets who are going to tell you how great Bud Harrelson was. You know what I'm saying?
They was amazing.
They'll tell you how great Tom Seaver was.
Amazing, yep,
and Ray Knight and all of those guys. They're going to tell you how great they were. Just like for Jay, he'll tell you how great Darryl Strawberry was, how great Doc Gooden was, how great Gary Carter was, Mookie Wilson and all those guys. So
Mookie.
I personally think there's always a place in the generation for everything to be celebrated without us having to tear down the other generation.
The great one.
Now,
right.
The only thing I don't like is what's said is the way when they say it, as far as y'all know, they know good and well that Ohtani's not the first person to hit and pitch. Babe Ruth was the standard for so long.
Right.
But Babe Ruth comes from a generation. Babe Ruth comes from a generation that neither of us was born in. None of us here on this show was born in. But then you also got to remember, Jim Tobin also did it in May of 1942 for the Boston Braves. So again, a generation. So it's been done before, and a lot of pitchers back in that time were pitching and hitting at the same time.
That's true.
So it's not an uncommon thing, and then you get a lot of players who even say today, even you look at Gary Sheffield when he was on all the smoke. He to tell you he could pitch as well, but they made you decide you either gonna pitch. In the later years, they started making you decide you either pitching or you're hitting. You don't want the other. Now Ohtani, he gets that grace also as well as because you're coming over from Japan. You got certain rules and information. The reason he got recruited a lot too as well was not only was he good hitting, he could also pitch. So when he comes over, he's going to be expected. He's expected to do both. You know, it's not like a lot of guys who are coming up from college or coming up through, coming up from the minor leagues and such forth. They might have started out as a pitcher, but then they might have been better as just a hitter or an infielder. So now they're going to say you're going to move over to doing infield. Yeah, you're not going to pitch. You're going to be a left fielder. You know, they'll throw you into the pitch when your team's getting blown out by 18 runs, like you seen Colorado got blown out. No Colorado shakes. I know Colorado people were feeling some kind of way about this season, but the games they were getting blown out this year, you might throw a guy in there like, hey, you used to pitch, then you go out there and throw a couple times, save some of our bullpen. But he definitely is a one in a generation player that comes through this time. You may not get a player that plays as good as him for another couple generations. So just like we say in basketball and football, same thing. He is great for this time, and there's no taking away. You can tell that they are definitely pushing him to the forefront to put the rocket on his back to carry the league. You can see that, and there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with it because baseball, for our sport, it's so many different cultures in there that are playing. There are great players of all different cultures. There's Asian, Hispanics, blacks, whites. You got a few Middle Eastern, those that are Indian that played also in the league. You got this playing out there. You got different players. Baseball is that one sport that's truly, like you say, Jay, is a team game. So Ohtani, his teammates, and I think where a lot of the anger comes from probably people is the fact is it's not about Ohtani getting the $700 million. It's the fact that he went to the Dodgers, so a team that is already stacked. Now, when he was with the Angels, nobody was complaining. But now that he's on the Dodgers, a team that is already stacked and just came off of winning the World Series. Because remember, he didn't make the Dodgers better. The Dodgers had already made the World Series 3 times before without him. They made it in 2017, they made it in 2018, they made it in 2020. So, winning the World Series in 2020, and they won the World Series in 2020.
What you're saying is that this Blue Jays team is a super team right now. I mean, the Dodgers team is a super team right now.
That's what most.
They happen to have the most. They got a pretty good goddamn crew of folks in there.
It's a murder. It's a murderer's row. It's a murderer's row out there.
Good team, bro. But you know what? They can say what they want to. I think that the Yankees were the epitome of that whole the whole thing, and now it's the Dodgers' turn, and you really gotta give Magic Johnson a lot of credit, bro. Magic Johnson bought this team, and since he bought this team, it's been to the damn five times, 4 times.
No, they've been to the World since 2017. They've been 5 times.
5 times, right?
Yeah, and they won.
Magic put that money in there. Magic and them got all that, and then the same thing that he brought over to the Washington, so that they changed the commander's name and brought that over. I like to give a lot of credit to the damn Dodger organization. They really did well in gathering all this talent. Freddie, like you said the other day, Nate, Freddie Freeman came off of a really good Atlanta Braves team, and they decided to blow that shit up. They just decided to blow it up. Why you gonna let somebody? And he was a young. He wasn't that old when he left. He was what, 26, 25?
They had just won the World Series in 2021, beating Houston Astros.
Right. So they gave him up. Mookie Betts, there was no reason Boston had to get rid of Mookie Betts. But what was the problem?
Boston fans are still hurt behind that now because that just led a trickle down effect from Betts to Xander Bogaerts, and now recently Rafael Devers. They went and got Alex Bregman, but Bregman just opted out of his contract.
I think I really do believe it's organizational and management. How does that? Because it would, like Jay said, it's teamwork, and you're looking at these teams, and they play pretty well. Now, are you getting tired of some things? Maybe there's some type of treatment that's going down, and the players aren't liking it. But for them to say that they're stacking these teams, most of these guys came off of just contract endings, right?
Some were picked
There
up
was
from
no
being
trade.
designated.
Who was it?
Listen,
There was
Was
a few.
Mookie
There was a
traded?
I guess.
yeah, he
Yeah, I
was.
guess in baseball, I don't look at it as a stacked team. I look at it as you need a great, well-balanced team. I want the best pitcher. I want the best first baseman. I want the best catcher. I want the best shortstop. I want the best third baseman. I want the best center fielder. I want the best.
If they've been able to calculate that and they
I
can
want
go get them,
I
go
want the
get
best
them.
closer.
Go
I
get
want the
'em.
best reliever. I want
But
the best manager. I want the best coach. Like, why not?
Well, but even with all that, you still doesn't mean you're gonna win if you can't hit the ball.
No, but you can't be mad when we do start
No.
winning because we did it. Don't get
Oh
mad
no,
at us because we went about it the way that we were supposed. I don't think they did anything out of the ordinary, except
they
maybe
didn't.
they did have to ask them for a little bit of money. But they're also in that market where that money, if it doesn't get tied up the right way, aren't they paying luxury taxes on their shit too?
Yeah, they do. No, and there's like I said, there's no
Yeah,
issue with it because they're following the guidelines, and yeah,
word.
everybody has their run. Some teams just never had it. The Yankees had it during the late '90s, going into the 2000s. The San Francisco Giants, well, maybe their payroll wasn't as high, but
Right,
some team, but they had 3 championships in 5 years. The Dodgers had their run. The Dodgers were clown for a while because at first they were making the World Series, but they were losing.
right.
They lost in 2017. They're gonna blame that on the scandal about the cameras and all that and the Zoom. The problem was Dave Roberts should have never went. He should have started Clayton Kershaw in Game 7. That was your problem. 2018, you just choked. That was your problem there. 2018, you took the lead. Puig hit the 3-run home run. Boston came back and won that game. Boston was the better team that year. The other years, they choked during the division series. 2 years ago, 2023, they had choked against their division rivals, the San Diego Padres, who they had beat on during the regular season, and then the Padres beat them during the playoffs. You choked. That's all it was. And they finally came through. You can't complain about last year. Yankees started playing like they look like my nephew's team, my teams, the little 8, 7-year-olds just throwing the ball around because nobody knows how to field the ball. That's what that looked like last year.
Did you say that about your Yankees?
I will always. When it comes to talking baseball, I can't be biased like that, Jay. You already told me. We talked about this. I can't be blindly biased like that, Jay.
You can't be how I am with my Mets. I get it.
No,
I respect that.
No, because
I respect that.
This is the reason y'all going through the tournament you're going through now. The only team that's going through more tournament than you in New York is the Jets.
Ooh.
Okay.
And notice the syllable rhymes.
Okay.
Jets, Mets, and Nets.
Stankies, Yankees, rhymes too. Cancun, see you soon. Yankees sounds good to me.
What you mean, see you soon? Yankees been there for about 3 weeks now.
No,
Chilling.
I'm saying that's your theme song. See you soon in Cancun.
Yes, indeed. Warm weather.
Yeah.
So I mean, it's always going to be a debate, but it's a great thing to see where Ohtani and what he's playing, and we're just going to see how high, how far he goes number wise. Of course, along the way there's going to be some, there's always going to be some issue with any great phenom that comes along. You look at it in any sport, anybody who comes with a lot of hype behind it, you're going to get more people that's going to wish for their downfall than you ever see them wishing for their success. Because they're going to feel like they're oversaturated on TV and always talked about like they're the greatest thing since sliced bread, So enjoy. I say enjoy it just like any other sport. Instead of us having these debates about who's better than who and who's the GOAT and which generation was better, I'm grateful to say that in my lifetime, I've been able to see these greats since the year I was born and to be able to say I've seen Ken Griffey Jr., I've gotten to see George Brett when he was still playing, Don Mattingly when he was the captain for the Yankees, getting to see Doc Gooden be one of the greatest pitchers at a young pitcher at his age, getting to see the Mark McGuires of the world, the Sammy Sosas, Barry
Randy
Bonds.
Johnson.
I remember when they had the Killer Bees, Bobby Bonilla and Barry Bonds, Randy Johnson, Greg Maddux, John Smoltz, and such forth, and go on to the Ohtanis and them of the world today. So it's just something great to witness, you know.
Yeah, can't lie, especially when you talking about those Mets. Woo! But now, Don Mattingly was nice though. I ain't gonna front. I was kind of upset. I wasn't a Yankee fan, but I was kind of upset when Jeter became the captain and then Don Mattingly wasn't the captain no more. Like in my mind, in my heart, Don Mattingly was always the captain. Like he was the captain of the Yankees even when he wasn't on the team. He was still the captain.
Now you want to hear something funny?
What up?
Don Mattingly is one of the assistant coaches on the Toronto Blue Jays now. So
I heard this
he's
is his
going
first time going to the
World
World
Series
Series
against the team that he managed from 2011 to 2015.
Sweet revenge.
Yeah, so you know that it's just going to be great. And speaking of that, just to show the picture, this is your final bracket showing now. We've reached the final two teams.
All right.
We've come all the way through October, to a great wild card, to a very exciting, fast-paced wild card series, all the way here to the all the way down to the World Series. I'm waiting for Jay to put the picture up.
Second. I'm
The
working on it. I'm working.
And the Los Angeles Dodgers, if I put a comparison, they're coming in playing from the wild card, coming all the way from the wild card this year. The defending champions were in the wild card this year, coming all the way in and going back to the World Series, where they will even as the defending champions, they will be playing on the road to start the World Series with Toronto having the better record. Toronto, of course, had the first round bye, defeated the Yankees, they defeated the Mariners. Meanwhile, the Dodgers had to go through a young Cincinnati team that they swept in the wild card round. Then they beat the Philadelphia Phillies in 6 in the divisional series, and then swept the Milwaukee Brewers, who had the best record in the National League this year. So before I get my predictions, what's your predictions for the World Series?
All right. I don't want to be emotional and give an emotional decision, but I want to say if I was going with an emotional decision, I'm going to say the Blue Jays. Logic says LA, so I'm going to go with LA. And emotional, I said for Blue Jays only because I feel like they're the underdogs. Don Mattingly deserves a chip. I want him to get one, just for New York, and he's been in the league for like 40 years. Like you deserve one, champ. You know what I mean? But when I look at Mookie Betts and the rest of them, them boys is nice. So I think the Dodgers are going to do it in 5.
Uncle, what you got?
I hate the Dodgers. I hate the Dodgers, but this is not logical. This is just we're looking at we might be looking at a dynasty team, yo. I have to say this. I'm with you, Nate. I'm a Yankee fan, but
Nate's not a Yankee fan. He's a Blue Jays fan. Look at his jersey.
North of the border now. Jay has already sent me, reported me out of the country.
Border, but okay, all right, whatever we do. But I'm gonna have to tell you, this is not your grandfather's Dodgers team. This is a team that you got to look at what they've been able to accomplish and what they put together. I don't think they'll sweep them. I'm with Jay though. I think it's gonna be Dodgers in 5, yo. And I don't think it's gonna be Shohei Ohtani who wins the MVP for this series. But I think you might want to look at one of your old heads, and it might be Mookie or
Freddie
Freddie
Freeman?
Freeman who do it again. Freddie Freeman was the one who got him last year with that home run. I think he's just gonna have a lot of big strokes. I think he's gonna hit. I think he's gonna hit the ball real good in this series. So I hats off to both teams, though. I'm with you on that one. Hats off to both the
Oh
Blue
yeah, much
Jays.
respect. They both made it.
Yeah,
You know what I'm saying?
hats off. They really have put together some pretty dynamic seasons, and I think it's totally due to the Toronto Blue Jays.
Mm.
Just not this year. Hey, and if these guys and if those guys in LA pitch what we saw them pitch in that last series, man, dang. It's gonna be heck to be paid up there in Toronto, bro.
It's gonna be
Dodgers
rough.
got some mess. Yeah, they Dodgers got some mess on their hands, bro. They got some wheelers. They got some dealers, bro.
So I'm gonna play devil's advocate. I'm gonna be the one to go against the grain just for the fun. I'm gonna say Blue Jays in 6. I really want to say 7, but I'm gonna be a risk taker and say 6. Everybody loves a good underdog story. The Dodgers, I got nothing against the Dodgers either. Great organization, dominant dominant. They've been the standard of they've really been the team that you got to go through in the National League really for the last couple of years, honestly. A couple of years they didn't make the World Series, but they've still been that stable. Every year the Dodgers is going to be one of the top teams, so you can never dismiss them. I think with the team, I just look at this young, hungry Blue Jays team. They're just going to have to play smart. The one main thing they're going to have to do, like Unc said about the pitching, they're going to have to get to that bullpen early. You cannot allow Glasnow, Yamamoto, Ohtani, or Snell to go 8 innings, six innings, even 6 innings or better.
Yeah, you better get them. You better crack on them early.
You got to get them in the 3rd and 4th inning. Alejandro Kirk. You got Addison Varga, Nathan Lukes, who has been a hitting machine during these playoffs. For them, you got Dalton Varsho. They came over Miles Straws and Andre Jimenez, who both were former Cleveland Guardian players. Of course, you got Vlad. You got the former Yankee Isaiah Kiner-Falefa also as well. Ernie Clement, a New York native. He's been really lights out. George Springer has just continued to show what he's always done in the playoffs. He's always been clutch during the playoffs. I know there was talks about Bo Bichette maybe being able to make the World Series roster. I don't know if that's still true. If he does, I think that's going to be an X factor for them. I also look for another guy who's a former Dodger as well, who's a big time player. He's getting paid through a lot of teams right now, and a lot of people thought he was done, but he showed that he can still come through in the playoffs. That is 41-year-old Max Scherzer, Mad Max as they like to call him. You got him on that roster, and Shane Bieber, Chris Bassett, Kevin Gausman in their rotation. So it's gonna be close because I remember when and I know Scherzer, Scherzer's one of the he's old school, so he likes to he don't forget certain things. I remember when he was with the Dodgers that year in the playoffs, and they pulled him after the 2nd inning. Yeah, he got a little hit in trouble, but he didn't really give up anything, maybe 1 run, 2 runs at tops, and they pulled him, and he was upset. And I know he probably still remembers that. And that's not going to lose his focus. I think he's going to be zoned, lasered in. And I'm looking forward to this series. Of course, this is getting near the end, so it's bittersweet for me because there's no more baseball for a while. So it's a little bittersweet for me, but I'm looking forward to this series coming up. So I'm going with Blue Jays in 6.
Wow. Okay, that's a big bold prediction right there. Well, we're gonna see who's gonna be right. It's either gonna be you know what I'm saying, since you wearing your Blue Jay jersey, you fake Yankee fan, or it's gonna be me and Unc, Yeah, Nate's a fake Yankee fan while he got on that Blue Jay jersey.
That's fine. I'll take it today. I'll take the slander.
That's crazy.
I told him the whole backstory, and he's still like, "You a fake Yankee fan? Fine, whatever. I don't care."
I mean,
you're fake, baby.
I mean, you did tell me the whole backstory, but it sounded good. I respect it, but I just believe what I believe,
you're
and my belief says that you deep down is a fake Yankee fan. I think you was only a Yankee fan because I was a Mets fan and you just wanted to slander me and heckle me and troll me. And it's okay. And it's quite all right.
I'm gonna find that song.
Yep, and we all sitting in Cancun now. So
exactly.
Moving on.
Exactly.
Moving on. Here is our Silver Slugger finalists for each position. First, we're going to start with the American League. Jay, if you just zoom in a little bit so that people can see. I'll just throw off a couple of names in each position. Like for first baseman, you got Vlad Guerrero. You got Jazz Chisholm for second base, Brandon Lowe. You got players like Alex Bregman, Jose Ramirez, Jeremy Pena, Bobby Witt Jr., of course, Kyle Riley, Shea Langeliers, George Springer. You have Ben Rice. You've got Byron Buxton. You got Riley Green, Aaron Judge, Cody Bellinger. So these are the American League finalists. These they will give out these awards on November the 7th. Moving on to the National League, we've got for such a Yankee hater, we got Pete Alonso for first base, the Silver Slugger, Freddie Freeman. We've got Juan Soto. We've got for the Mets, got Kyle.
Just because you're a Yankee hater doesn't mean you can't announce what the Mets is doing.
We got PCA Pete Armstrong, Corbin Carroll. We've got Kyle Stowers, Nick Horner. You got Matt Chapman. Just naming off the list as Jay has zoomed in, as you can see. Francisco Lindor, as well. Trey Turner. So Shohei Ohtani, Kyle Schwarber, Alec Burleson. So again, November 7th will be the day that they make this decision on who will be the Silver Slugger for each position.
Yeah. All I'm saying is that I see a lot of Mets up there.
Right.
A lot of Mets players. That's a good look.
There's three Mets players up there.
Yeah, it's a great look.
And there's four Yankee players.
We don't need we would come on now. Come on. Talking about anybody else but the Mets, you always do this, Nate. Dang.
So I'm gonna give a last shout out to the people. Just a last recommendation. I think it might be a good watch for everyone because I'm actually going to tune in this weekend to watch it. It's called on Netflix. Who Killed the Montreal Expos? And it's on Netflix now. And it goes a deep talking to the Montreal Expos franchise, who was the Toronto Blue Jays in country rival. They were the other baseball team that was there for years until the early 2000s when they moved to Washington, and they're now known as the Washington Nationals. So if you don't got nothing going on, or college football is done with, or whatever, you got some time this weekend, catch out that series. I think I'm looking forward to looking at this weekend because I wish the Montreal Expos was still around.
Oh no, you can talk over it. I'm just playing the video.
There's a lot of great players that came from that team. Of course, for those who might remember, '94 was one of the best years. That '94 team, who was supposed to play against the Yankees in the World Series, that '94 team consisted of great players such as Randy Johnson, Pedro Martinez, Moises Alou, Alejandro Galarraga. You had, I think, if I'm not mistaken, Larry Walker was on that team also as well. So I think there's going to be this is going to be a great story to tell about that organization, because I think that's actually another city that I think should have a baseball team as well. I think they should put another team in Canada out there in Montreal.
Yeah, and their jerseys was dope too.
Yeah, they were. All of them, especially the one with the little Expo logo right there. And that hat was fire.
They did them dirty. But yo, Nate, man, as always, this is why we call you MLB Nate the Great, son, because you are definitely, well informed. You know this game, you know the sport, yo. You have valuable, knowledgeable information. Again, we thank you, man, because like I always say in the introduction, this is not your ordinary, baseball podcast, baseball show, no matter where you tuned in listening to right now, or you're viewing us on YouTube. So I hope you definitely enjoyed everything that was given to you tonight, because now you have a good understanding of the two teams who made it to the finals, who made it to the World Series, and about all four teams who played in the in the championships to get to the finals, to get to the World Series. So before we skedaddle, get up out of here, yo, is there anything you want to say to the people, yo?
May the best team win, baby.
All right. Listen, Nate, I'm gonna let you close it out before before we head home. So as for me tonight, I'm gonna hit y'all with growth begins when we recognize our own weakness and start to create a space to become better in those areas. So in other words, if you can't do push-ups, man, just do some push-ups, man. That's all. You weak. You are weak. Do some push-ups. Nah, I'm just playing, man. Just get better however you need to get better in whatever area of your life that you're not proficient in. Nate, what you got?
I just want to thank everybody who's come along, who's joined the show. Unc, Art, Troy, Leo with his little comments every now and then we come in about his like a baseball. Corey from time to time, shout out to Corey who he's out there doing his thing. Appreciate everyone who's helped this show along and come along on the show and logged in. Jay, especially appreciate you and Leo for production all the time and being able to post everything. To anybody who's watched the show, those who have logged in at times and watched it, I know we had one show where we had more people watching than I was expecting. I'm not gonna lie, I was a little flustered that day. I wasn't expecting that many people to be watching it. I know I do got one person who always does watch my shows, but they watch them afterwards. And I appreciate anybody who does look at this. And I'm just giving this kind of speech because I know we're coming down to the end and the season's almost over, and which also is going to wrap up the first season of MLB with Nate. So just want to thank everybody out there. Live, take care of your families. Never give up. Never let anybody tell you what you can do. Always try it for yourself.
Hey, that's what it is, man. And even though, it is baseball season is wrapping up, I don't think we should. We've been discussing behind the scenes. We don't want to lose the momentum of what we got going on with this podcast and show. So it may not be a full hour and a half podcast how we do now. It may be like a 30-minute, 45-minute, just a recap of just baseball history, baseball memorabilia, maybe some highlights, some games, some highlight of play and stuff. And Nate and I both are wrestling fans. We do like wrestling. So if there's a wrestling event that's popping off, that's coming up, we may do a podcast talk about it. You know what I'm saying? Because that's another good thing that we can debate on. We love to just debate on the podcast and what we do on the Virtual Man Cave on this platform. And please don't forget that we D Rigger, aka Unc, has a show. You know what I'm saying? D Rigger presents Moments with Unc. You know what I'm saying?
I was the only one on it.
Nate,
But that's every.
All right, wait, Nate. Look, let's compromise here. We ain't got no more baseball. You just come over and do the show with me.
Yeah, I mean, I'm still gonna log in. I'm still gonna check in on that show as well. I'm just saying, as far as because the World Series, the World Series getting ready to come to the end, so we're gonna take a little break. This ain't the end. This is the end. I know.
Thursdays. We ain't gonna do no Thursday nights.
I know you hear Jay all the time talk about season 2. This is only season 1 of MLB with Nate. So
I'm just saying, man.
We hope that's why I'm hoping the World Series goes at least 6 or 7 games, and to give me at least one more show.
Wow. Well,
listen, what you mean one more show? Don't the World Series? Don't. Oh, Nate's still gonna be on production. He's still gonna be on the screen, but I just don't want to stop the momentum of him having his own platform, his own show every Thursday. Locked in. You know what I mean? His segment. But
I ain't worried about that. I just come. I'm gonna still roll on to the other shows that we got going on.
Hey, you know it. But and the other show that he's talking about is, again, we have a show that we do on Saturday night with the whole crew, the Virtual Man Cave podcast. It's the whole team and whatnot. Me, Unc, Nate, Troy, Leo, Art, and sometimes Corey the Mayor stops by and pop up. You know what I'm saying? Corey with a Y. I don't know why. And then we got every Monday night at 8:30, 9 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. You know what I'm saying? What, 9:30, 9:30, I don't know, around that time. We got Unc show, you know what I'm saying? D Rigger presents Moments with Unc, and trust, we be laughing, we be rolling, we be kicking it, and OG be dropping some OG wisdom on us, man. So again, we just want to thank everybody who tuned in and tapped in tonight, man. And again, I just want to double down on what Nate said. We appreciate you and everybody who's viewing, because we growing, we getting better every show, everything that we do. So you watching it from the ground up. You know what I'm saying? You seeing something organic. All right. Love is love. We see y'all next week, yo. Peace. They never let me end the show.